What's up, guys? This is Matt with Flagstaff Camera, and today we're going to talk about expired film, why you would want to shoot it, why you probably don't want to shoot it, pros and cons. Let's dive in. So expired film, right? Film has an expiration date. It's kind of like Twinkies in that, yes, the expiration date is sort of a suggested date, and storage matters. So you can completely disregard or almost completely disregard storage or expiration date on a film if it's been stored properly. If it's been stored improperly, then you need to really pay attention. So let's talk about that. How film is stored matters a lot. It matters more than the age of the film, more than the type of the film. It matters a bunch. You want your film to be frozen in a temperature and humidity consistent environment as much as possible. That's why people store it in the fridge, which is pretty good, or the freezer, which is really good. If you store your film, by comparison, in the dash of your car, where it gets really, really hot during the day and then very, very cold at night, that's about the worst possible place you could store it, aside from just storing it like outside in the dirt. Your garage is another terrible place to keep it, unless it's in a freezer in your garage, which I know people who have entire freezers full of film in their garage. Good for you. Share some. I'd love to shoot some of your garage frozen film. You want it to be consistent, right? Your temperatures, your humidities, all that should be the same. You can take film from the 90s or from the early aughts that's been frozen and shoot it today in 2021 with complete confidence. We do that, not a big deal. Most of the staff here have their own sort of stash of frozen films. No big deal, shoot it whenever you want. What you'll notice with expired film that hasn't been stored well, or if you don't know how it's been stored, is that you're taking a little bit of a gamble. If it's expired, you're probably going to have some base fog. I have a great example of what that looks like. We'll put up a photo. You're probably going to get some extra grain out of your film. You're probably going to get a little bit less sensitivity. You may get some weird color shifts. It's just completely unpredictable if it hasn't been stored well. You know, you're on eBay, you're trolling around like, hey, can I get me some cool Tri-X 320 that they haven't made since 2009 or 2010? Yeah, you can buy it. But if it doesn't say, I bought this new from a store and I stored it in a freezer for the last 11 years, you're taking a gamble on it. So same thing with color film, it's all the same. Store it consistently. I don't know that you'd necessarily, like if you're going on a long road trip, you probably don't need to really keep it in a cooler, especially a cooler that's full of ice that will then melt. That's probably a terrible idea, but you don't really want it in the dash of the car either, where there's exposed to a lot of heat variation. So just, keep it as consistent as you can. Bring your bag of film inside at night when you're out on a road trip, and just, a little bit of common sense. And then if you're shooting expired film on purpose for an effect, know that you never really know what that effect is going to be unless you have like a large batch of film that was stored in a similar way that is putting out a consistent result. For instance, photographer we work for, I developed his film. He's got hundreds of rolls that have been stored in his garage in the heat, and it's all base fogged, it's all grainy. He's lost about, I'd say, a stop or two worth of sensitivity in the film, so it's really low contrast. But once you know that, you can shoot that film for an effect and do it on purpose, right? And if he wants the new film look, he'll just go buy new film. Anyway, that's kind of a quick little primer on expired film. Know that you're taking a risk. If at all possible, know what the film's going to do before you shoot anything important on it. Why would you shoot expired film? Because it's usually cheaper. You can usually get fat stacks of expired, anything you would want to get your grubby little hands on for like a couple bucks a roll, maybe $5 a roll. That's what we sell expired film here at Flagstaff Camera. When we have it, which is basically when it gets donated to us, we'll sell it for a couple of bucks a roll and just say, we don't know what it's going to do, but it's probably going to be interesting. As opposed to, 10 or $15 a roll, depending on the film. Anyway, that's a little bit about expired film. Do you have any stocks you'd like to shoot expired? Do you have any methods or theories about what works well for expired film? Put those in the comments down below, and talk to you next time.